you know what? Let's Google what the definition of a trad wife is.
Well, that's perfect. So I'm actually going to ask you, what do you consider a trad wife?
Well, I had to look up the term.
Read it to me.
Because I wasn't familiar with that, right? I didn't quite know what it means.
This morning, I woke up wanting some audacity, so I made it from scratch. What's going on, fellow high yellow? Where's all this bass in your chest coming from? I knew you weren't 100% a traditional woman when I found out you were a black Mormon. I knew you weren't traditional when I saw you were naming your children after Bath and Body Works scents. I knew you weren't traditional when I found out you were married to a white man openly with your Mormon ass. I didn't know they were allowed to do that in the daytime. Really? And yes, we see that you are wearing pants in this interview. We also heard where you said that a traditional housewife wouldn't be cooking in scaparelli. We understand that. Us with a fully developed brain understand that. I don't personally know what they call what you do in the Mormon faith. I was raised Baptist. We just call that being a hypocrite. We're on your ass the same way we've been on Future's ass. Y'all have both pushed things onto young minds that you don't really do. Future wasn't popping the pills like that. A lot of us already peeped this was a hustle, and everybody was for the most part shutting the fuck up. I understand that you're not always making shit from scratch at 5 in the morning and feeding your kids. I feel like you have a bowl of Fruit Loops off camera somewhere. Sure, girl, your kid wanted some Oreos, so you took 4 hours to make 5 of them from scratch. Girl, make your money. That's what we were doing. I wasn't gonna say shit, but this attitude, ugh. Girl, you're pushing 1940s propaganda. Most of us with some sense know that being a stay-at-home mother, being a housewife is not glamorous. It's not glamorous at all. But how do you push it? I don't know. Put a nice dress on, some heels, some nice makeup, put on a soft voice. Anybody with common sense knows that being a mother of 4, a housewife, is not a glamorous thing. The average stay-at-home mom is probably in a baggy t-shirt somewhere, messy bun, covered in throw up. If you look up 1940s, 1950s propaganda, they were doing the same shit you were doing, just on a poster. Just because a lot of us know that's not how it really is in real life doesn't mean you're not pushing it. If what you're doing wouldn't work on me, who exactly would it work on? I don't know, 18, 19-year-old, somebody green, somebody who doesn't know the real reality of the world. Oh, I'm not traditional. I do shit 50-50 around the house. Yeah, and porn stars don't really get stuck in the dryer, yet here we are with thousands of videos of it. Imagine any other occupation doing the shit that you're doing. Oh, I'm not a fitness instructor. I don't do fitness content. I just record myself doing push-ups and burpees and sit-ups and swinging a kettlebell around. I'm actually quite the slob. I ate McDonald's the other day. I don't give a fuck. You can't get an attitude with us because we didn't see something you refused to post. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Nara, I don't know if your husband really helps you around the house like that. As far as I've seen, that man just smacks you on your ass, knocks you up, and hops out of frame. I haven't seen him pick up a vacuum yet. Does your husband help with the dishes after you get done cooking? Maybe. I mean, your audience hasn't seen him do it. Maybe turn the camera around. Have him wash some pots and pans off. I don't know, get a Dawn sponsorship with the soap. Go behind the barn that you live in on your homestead and clean off some ducks. You could really get a bag off of this. Girl, if you want to rebrand, just rebrand. It's not that deep. You could easily come out here and say, hey, I've been married and popping out babies since I was 19. I'm now in my later 20s and realize that my brain is fully developed and that's not the person I want to be anymore. You're a rich model. That's not relatable. You're weird, and that's fine. Girl, just come out in a crop top with a belly ring. Cuss a little bit. Hang out with some black people. You'll rebrand like that.
Hey guys, it's OZ and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, Nara Smith is actually trying to pivot from the trad wife aesthetics and lifestyle that she's been putting out for us into a normal woman. I mean, like the woman that works, the woman that, you know, goes out to get her money and everything. I mean, some people are actually asking, why is she doing something like this? Is it because of the money? Because we all know that there's levels to this influencing thing. You know, with her being a trad wife, I mean, there's a limit to the engagement she'll have. There's a limit to how much money she can get with this her trad wife, you know, aesthetic and everything. And we all know, or we all think, actually, we think that she's trying to pivot from that into like a general area in this space where she can actually make money from that and every other thing. And we also know that she's releasing a cookbook very soon. She can start a franchise, you know, start selling cookware, aprons and all of that. I mean, what do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section.
Imagine for years I make skydiving content. I put on the little suit that you wear when you skydive. I show you, hey, this is what I do when I'm about to skydive. I show you videos of me skydiving. I say, for my friends and family, I encourage the skydiving lifestyle. And then years in the future, when people ask me, hey, why did you encourage skydiving? I say, whoa, I never said I skydive. I never said anything about skydiving. And if people think that I skydive, well, that's their problem. Do you hear how crazy that sounds? Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds? That's how I feel about Nara Smith. Girl, for years she got on here hand rolling Fruit Loops for her children. She was pregnant and drinking raw milk. She was hanging out with trad wife influencers. And then she has the nerve to turn around and say, why do people think, a trad wife? Me? But I am a woman with her own business. But I'm wearing jeans right now. But a trad wife, me? Also, I have to say, has anybody ever seen her wear jeans before? I think that Call Her Daddy interview was literally the first time I'd ever seen her in jeans. That was a choice. Since 2024, she has been making homesteading content. She knows that most of her followers have come from people mimicking this homesteading lifestyle. It doesn't matter if you yourself are fully a trad wife. It doesn't matter if you have a business. It doesn't matter if you have a job. What it matters is that you were selling this lifestyle and making it aesthetic to very vulnerable people. And when the impacts of that have been seen politically and socially, now you're trying to distance yourself from it just because it's not appealing anymore, just because we've now seen the damage of what you do. No, it doesn't make sense. Also, did everybody forget when she was posting excerpts from the Book of Mormon? The Book of Mormon? They're Mormons. Come on.
Nara Smith sat up there and stole all that content from that South African creator that she never gave credit to, and then sued her when she spoke up for herself and just said, hey, stop stealing my content word for word, bar for bar. You know, you took my whole flow. She sued that girl instead of like stopping, just, you know, getting while the getting was good. She already had millions and millions of followers and millions of views. She was like, no, if I can't steal from you, I'm going to sue you. And now that she wants to distance herself, now that she's a little bit older and her frontal lobe is starting to develop and she's like, oh my God, I look like an idiot. Now she's starting to see that this trad wife shit really ain't it. And now she want to be a girl boss. And they're like, all right, that's cool and all, but like, you stole your way to the top. Just the worst type of people, man, be getting on, bruh.
You know what? Let's Google what the definition of a trad wife is.
Well, that's perfect. So I'm actually going to ask you, what do you consider a trad wife?
Well, I had to look up the term because
read it to me.
Because I wasn't familiar with that, right? I didn't quite know what it means. But the fast answer is a trad wife is a woman who embraces or promotes a traditional model of marriage and family life where she typically prioritizes being a homemaker and a primary caregiver for kids, takes primary responsibility for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household, supports her husband's role as the primary breadwinner, often values traditional gender roles within marriage. So with that definition and those points, I'm none of that. And we can go through it point by point. I don't prioritize being a homemaker. I'm a working mom. Like, I am out in LA. I travel a lot. Do I love cooking because it's my passion and because I kind of have to do it given my autoimmune? Absolutely. But that's a passion of mine. It's a hobby. It's not something that I need to be doing for what?
Right?
Right.
Keep going. I like this. This is good.
Primary caregiver for my kids? No. My husband and I split it 50-50. Like, when he works, I watch them. When I work, he watches them. And now, given everything that's been going on, we also have help. My mom's out. We have someone that helps us with the kids because it's just not doable for me to do it all. So that doesn't really work, right? Takes primary responsibility for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household. Yeah, I like to cook. Okay, sue me. I like to cook. My husband burns everything apart from a good steak, so he'll do that. But I like cooking, so I'm doing it. Household and cleaning, he does the dishes. I don't touch the dishes. There's no way you're gonna see me washing and scrubbing the dishes. Also, he cleans our house.
I don't think a trad wife would be cooking in Schiaparelli. Cleared! But what didn't clear are her lies. It is both irresponsible and pointless for Nara Smith to try to deny that she was pushing trad wife content. While most traditional wives don't have Vogue covers and pieces straight off the runway, I think we all can agree that Mrs. Smith was definitely part of that propaganda. She was literally cosplaying as a trad wife, making thousands and maybe even millions of dollars from doing so. And now that it's not cool to be a trad wife anymore, she's distancing herself from that character. her. Not to mention she did that weird collab with the #1 trad wife on TikTok, Ballerina Farms. Ah, yes, Ballerina Farms. The woman that gave up her dreams of being a ballerina so she could become a chef and personal baby making machine, milking cows all day on a hot ass farm. With her billionaire husband, might I add. So yes, Nara Smith is definitely lying, and she was part of pushing a narrative that is no longer popular. She can try to backtrack, but it's too late. We already have 17-year-old girls that are loud and proud about not going to school or having any career plans of their own. Their goals are simply to be a slave to their husband and children. And of course, they're receiving harsh criticism for it, and rightfully so. Because of that, Nara is now trying to flip the script.
Primary responsibility for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household. Yeah, I like to cook. Okay, sue me.
She's only 24 years old, and it shows through her interview. Kudos to Alex Cooper for having her 5th Black guest on Call Her Daddy. She knew exactly how she was being perceived. Now, do I think Nara Smith is a trad wife? Absolutely not. But do I believe she was cosplaying as one while also profiting off of it as long as it served her? Yes, I do. But tell me what you think in the comments. You're welcome. I love ya.
I think a lot of people are missing the real reason that Nara Smith is choosing to disavow the trad wife lifestyle now. Everyone's focusing on the fact that this trad wife lifestyle is, not cool anymore, or because of the political connotations surrounding it. That is partially true, but the biggest reason, I would be willing to bet my life on this, is that Nara Smith announced that she is releasing a cookbook, okay? And that cookbook, of course, is her way of dipping her toes into hopefully someday having a lifestyle brand in the next year or two. Y'all have to remember that trad wife and the trad wife living is a subculture, which means it already comes with a built-in ceiling. Nara Smith had 12 million followers. She knows she has reached that ceiling. She probably felt like she reached that ceiling a long time ago. But for her brand to survive and to be able to do bigger things, she needs to pivot. She doesn't have a choice. So with this cookbook that she's working with a mass publisher on, HarperCollins, that mass publisher is gonna go to Target and Amazon and Barnes & Noble and say, hey, this is Nara Smith's cookbook. We really want you to put it on our shelves. But guess what? Brands like Target and Barnes & Noble, they do not like polarizing people. They do not like polarizing brands because it doesn't support their core demographic. I mean, Target alone, I believe 62% of their core demographic, the people who shop there, are women who are between the ages of 25 and 44, okay? They skew younger. They also tend to fall somewhere between moderate to progressive, okay? So that means that these people are already socially conscious. They care about things like career flexibility and, women's autonomy. All of the things that Nara Smith understands that she has now been representing in her brand and in her content. So what better way to gain mass appeal than to go on probably the biggest platform she could find right now, Call Her Daddy, and say, trad wife, I've never even heard of that. I'm just like you. I work too. I would actually not be surprised at all if within the next few weeks, before her book comes out in October, she goes on other platforms to talk about the same thing. That would not surprise me at all. Because I promise you that cookbook is just the tip of the iceberg of the entire lifestyle brand that she probably wants to put together. And if that cookbook sells well and Target and Barnes & Noble reorder, then what she's gonna do is she's eventually gonna come out with aprons and cookware and pots and pans and candles and home decor. And eventually the goal is to have an entire aisle at Target. I mean, that would be great. But you can't do that, and you're not gonna gain that when only 5% of the female population in the United States self-identifies as trad wife and identifies with the lifestyle that you're pushing. She herself stated in the Call Her Daddy interview that she had a major brand who she was trying to partner with, and they told her team, I don't care what you say, she's a trad wife to me, and I don't wanna work with her. But for her to say that she has no idea why people have made her the poster child for this trad wife living, as if we do not have ears and eyes, is so disingenuous because you do not have to say it out loud for us to pick up what you're putting down.
What is it now?
You know what? Let's Google what the definition of a trad wife is. Well, I had to look up the term because I wasn't familiar with that, right? I didn't quite know what it means. But the fast answer is a trad wife is a woman who embraces or promotes a traditional model of marriage and family life.
I mean, look, I've stitched a couple of her videos for fun. And we're both in character, right? She's doing her little quiet voice, and I'm doing the David Buddy Gronk voice. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with adopting a character to entertain people. But there is something wrong with it when you do it to bullshit people.
We had some friends over at the farm this week, and between Nara and I, we had 11 children outside playing. So we knew it was just a matter of time until they were in the house wanting a meal.
I present to you my wife's first cookbook. Homemade by Nara Aziza Smith.
Nara Smith knew exactly what she was doing. And it's insulting for her to suggest otherwise. What you're seeing with the backlash to all this is that people are fed up with being scammed all the time, everywhere. You gotta subscribe to use the printer that's in your own damn house. You get ads in the middle of a movie on a streaming service that you're paying for. The solution to the housing crisis, 50-year mortgages where you never actually own your house. Buy a car, but you gotta buy a subscription in order to hook up your phone to the friggin' hardware that's already there. Influencers posing as experts, but they're reading scripts from lobbying groups. Big Egg using a bird flu to hike up the price of eggs just because they can. Members of Congress trading stocks whose prices they influence. Airbnb and their goddamn cleaning fees. And now this chick telling you that you're an idiot for ever believing that she embraced the whole trad wife thing. Which would be a fair thing to say if this was all she was doing.
Woke up from a nightmare last night dreaming that all my rhubarb magically disappeared overnight. And that scared me so bad that I rolled out of bed and immediately started making some.
We know that this is over the top. We know that this is a character, and that is fine. But I'll remind you, you also did this.
We had 11 children outside playing, so we knew it was just a matter of time until they were in the house wanting a meal. Nara got started on the pasta, so she put flour, semolina, salt, and then mixed that with egg.
This is you waxing authentic. You're not in your insane dress talking in a fake voice with some contrived situation for why you gotta make Fruit Loops from scratch. You are in your billionaire homegirl's house using your regular voices with y'all's 11 kids and your actual families. So for you to go on a podcast and act like you don't know why anybody thought you'd be a trad wife would be like me going on a podcast saying, I don't know why anybody ever thought I was a farmer. Anyway, I celebrate the end of curated content, and the influencer era in general is just so irritating to watch these people try and pivot while telling us don't believe your lying eyes. Because it suggests that whatever they do next is just going to be more bullshit.
You know, I typically don't talk about pop culture almost ever unless there's some type of alignment with medicine and science. And so in terms of the Nara Smith of it all, her coming out saying she doesn't really understand why she has been labeled a trad wife when it's very clear that her content was honing in on the traditional wife lifestyle, making everything from scratch, from fruit roll-ups to cereal, and, you know, aligning herself with people who were also trad wives, like Ballerina Farm. They're very close, according to the way that they are on social media. And with the whole fact that that type of lifestyle, getting married very young, having many children despite not being able to financially support them, all of that is all in line with traditional wife. It's obviously very aligned with one side of the political aisle. And what comes with that now is being anti-vax, being against science, not believing in modern medicine, and feeling like you can use any herb in your kitchen to cure whatever you want. And all of that is very in line with this current administration. For whatever reason, she's deciding to distance herself from that. Everybody has a thought as to why. However, I haven't seen many people talk about her most recent encounter with the medical system and modern medicine. So she's been very candid in letting people know that her little girl was diagnosed with cancer. And thank God she's in remission right now. But during that time, her and her family obviously had to rely on modern medicine to have her daughter actually get into remission. They had to listen to the physicians, and she's been vocal about how thankful she was about the medical staff. And I do believe that personal encounter with science and modern medicine has maybe shifted her thought process as to whether or not she really wants to align herself with an administration that is clearly anti-science. It's very evident with what's going on with Dr. Fauci right now. It's very evident in terms of their insane dismantling of the vaccine mandates. It's very evident with the way that they're putting money where the government is funding money, taking money away from cancer research, child cancer research. It has a very clear message, is that we don't care about this. This isn't important to us. It doesn't matter if it's a child or adult. We don't think that funding science is important. And I believe, or I think personally, that her having this personal encounter with the health system and the medical system to literally save her child made her think, maybe I don't want to associate myself with this
Not that she's ever come out and said what her political standing is, but I think any intelligent person can infer where she stood or potentially still stands. And now she's wanting to distance herself from this. So it's very difficult to support a regime that rejects medicine, doctors, healthcare in general, and also is subtly pushing. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought, but I'm just saying that it's very hard to align yourself with an anti-science message when you yourself had to rely heavily on science to save your child. Anyway, this is getting quite long. Let me know your thoughts.
Hey guys, welcome back. If you liked the video, please drop a comment in the comment section and also support our channel by subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye.